It's 5:47 p.m. You ask your 2-year-old to put on their shoes. That's it. Just shoes. And now they are face down on the kitchen floor, screaming like you've committed an unspeakable act. Their body is rigid. Their face is red. Every attempt you make to reason with them makes it worse. Every attempt to comfort them makes it worse. Nothing you do makes it better. You are not a bad parent. Your child is not a bad child. And this is not about the shoes. What is actually happening in your toddler's brain during a tantrum is one of the most fascinating and misunderstood stories in all of developmental neuroscience. And once you understand it, you will never look at a meltdown the same way again. More importantly, you will know exactly what to do and what to stop doing. Welcome to Raised by Science. Today, we are going deep into toddler tantrums, not from a parenting hack perspective, but from a neuroscience perspective. We're going to look at what's physically happening inside your child's brain, why tantrums peak between ages 1 and 4, what the research says about the single most effective response, and the 3 things most parents do that accidentally make tantrums worse and more frequent over time. Let's go. To understand tantrums, you need to understand 2 parts of the brain. The first is the amygdala, a small almond-shaped structure deep in the brain that acts as your child's threat and emotion detection system. The amygdala is fully functional at birth. It is fast, reactive, and operates entirely below conscious awareness. When it fires hard. The second is the prefrontal cortex, the large outer layer at the front of the brain, responsible for rational thinking, impulse control, emotional regulation, planning, and empathy. Here is the critical piece of information that changes everything. The prefrontal cortex is the last part of the brain to develop. It is not fully mature until the mid-20s. In a 2-year-old, it is barely online at all. Neuroscientist and author Dr. Daniel Siegel describes what happens during a tantrum as flipping your lid. Picture the brain as a hand. The thumb folded into the palm represents the amygdala. The fingers closed over the thumb represent the prefrontal cortex, keeping everything regulated. When a child is overwhelmed, the fingers fly open. The prefrontal cortex goes offline, and the amygdala takes over completely. This is not a choice. This is not manipulation. This is a neurological event. A toddler mid-tantrum has lost access to the part of the brain that could calm them down, process language, respond to reason, or control their body. They are not giving you a hard time. They are having a hard time, and they have no neurological tools to get themselves out of it alone. So why do tantrums peak so dramatically between ages 1 and 4? Because this is the precise developmental window where toddlers experience an explosion of wants, feelings, opinions, and awareness without the neurological equipment to manage any of it. Between 12 and 18 months, toddlers develop object permanence. They understand that things exist even when they can't see them. They develop a sense of self. They know they are a separate person with their own desires. They develop preferences, opinions, and the powerful awareness that the world does not automatically match those preferences. At the same time, their language is far behind their emotional experience. A 2-year-old can feel rage, grief, frustration, jealousy, overstimulation, emotions as complex and intense as anything an adult feels, but they do not yet have the words to express them. The emotion has nowhere to go except out, through their body. Researchers at the University of Minnesota studied the acoustic patterns of toddler cries and screams and found that the physical act of crying and screaming is itself regulatory. It activates the vagus nerve and helps discharge the neurological arousal. Your toddler is not performing. Their body is using the only tool it has to process an emotional state it cannot manage any other way. That is a tantrum. It is not a behavioral problem. It is a developmental stage built into the biology of being 2. Now, here are the 3 responses that most parents default to, and that the research shows consistently make tantrums worse and more frequent over time. Response 1. Trying to reason with the child mid-tantrum. When the prefrontal cortex is offline, language comprehension is severely impaired. During an active tantrum, your child's brain is not processing complex sentences. Studies using functional MRI have shown that during high emotional arousal, the neural pathways between the language centers and the frontal lobe are functionally disrupted. This means that explaining, negotiating, offering choices, or reasoning during a meltdown is neurologically equivalent to giving driving directions to someone who is unconscious. The words are entering a brain that cannot process them, and your frustration at being ignored escalates the situation further. The prefrontal cortex must come back online before any learning or reasoning can happen. The research is clear. Wait first, talk second. Response 2. Matching the child's emotional escalation. Your nervous system is contagious. This is not a metaphor. It is measurable metascience. Research on co-regulation shows that heart rate, breathing patterns, and cortisol levels synchronize between people in close physical proximity, especially between parents and children. When you respond to a tantrum with a raised voice, a tense body, or visible anger, your nervous system communicates danger to your child's already dysregulated nervous system. The amygdala receives the signal. The threat is confirmed. The arousal escalates further. Studies by Dr. James Gross at Stanford on emotional contagion found that parental physiological arousal during a child's distress was one of the strongest predictors of how long that distress lasted. Your calm is not passive. It is the most active intervention available to you. Response 3. Giving in to stop the tantrum immediately. This one is the most understandable and the most counterproductive long term. When a parent consistently terminates a tantrum by giving the child whatever triggered it, two things happen neurologically. First, the child's brain learns escalated distress is an effective tool for changing outcomes. The behavior is reinforced at a neurological level. The tantrum becomes a strategy. Second, and more importantly, the child loses the opportunity to develop frustration tolerance, the capacity to experience a negative emotion and remain functional. Frustration tolerance is a skill built through repeated, supported experience of manageable disappointment. Every time you rescue the child from the feeling before they can move through it, you are removing a practice repetition for one of the most important skills in human psychology. So, what does the science say actually works? The evidence-based framework is called co-regulation, and it is the mechanism by which all self-regulation is eventually built. You cannot teach a child to regulate themselves. You can only provide the regulated external environment in which that capacity gradually develops. Here is how it works in practice. Step 1. Regulate yourself first. This is non-negotiable. Before you do anything else, take one slow breath. This is not a platitude. A slow exhale activates the vagus nerve and shifts your autonomic nervous system from sympathetic, fight or flight, to parasympathetic, rest and regulation. This takes approximately 3 to 5 seconds, and it physically changes your neurological state. You cannot co-regulate a dysregulated child if you are dysregulated. Your nervous system must go first. Research by Dr. Mona Delahook shows that the single strongest predictor of a child returning to their window of tolerance is the physiological state of the caregiver in the room. Step 2. Get close without demanding anything. Move toward your child rather than away. Get down to their physical level. Do not demand eye contact. Do not speak yet. Simply be near them with a calm body, soft face, relaxed shoulders, slow breathing. Your physical presence signals safety to the child's nervous system. Research on proximity and co-regulation shows that a calm caregiver within arm's reach reduces cortisol levels in distressed children significantly faster than any verbal intervention. You are not rewarding the tantrum by being present. You are providing the neurological raw material for regulation. Step 3. Offer physical regulation, if accepted. Rhythmic physical input, gentle rocking, slow patting, a firm hold if the child accepts it, activates the vestibular system and the vagus nerve simultaneously. This is why humans have rocked distressed babies since the beginning of time. It is wired into our biology as a regulatory tool. Do not force physical contact. Offer it. If the child rejects it, stay close and remain calm. The co-regulation still works through proximity and your own physiological state. Step 4. Name the feeling. Once, briefly. When the storm begins to pass, when the crying softens, When the body starts to relax, offer a single short emotional label. Not a lecture, not an explanation of why they can't have what they want. Just the feeling. You were really upset. That felt so unfair. You wanted that so much. Daniel Siegel's affect labeling research shows that this single act, naming the emotional experience, measurably reduces amygdala activation and strengthens the neural pathway between the emotional brain and the reasoning brain. You are literally, through one short sentence, helping your child build the circuitry for self-regulation.
Step 5. Reconnect. Then, and only then, address the behavior. Once your child is regulated and back in their window of tolerance, reconnect with a moment of warmth. A hug if they want one. A quiet moment together. Then, briefly and without drama, you can address what happened. Not a lecture, not a consequence that teaches shame. A simple, calm statement. You couldn't have the biscuit before dinner. That felt really hard. Next time we can try. The learning can only happen now, after regulation, not during the storm. Everything you tried to teach during the tantrum was inaudible. Everything you say now to a regulated child who feels connected to you will be heard. Here is what all of this builds toward. Every time you co-regulate your child through a tantrum, every time you stay calm, stay close, name the feeling, and reconnect, you are not just surviving a difficult moment. You are building something inside your child's brain. The prefrontal cortex grows in response to experience. The more times a child experiences dysregulation followed by regulated recovery, with the support of a calm caregiver, the stronger the neural pathways for self-regulation become. The window of tolerance widens. The tantrums become shorter. The recovery becomes faster. Research following children from toddlerhood through adolescence shows that children whose early tantrums were met with co-regulation rather than punishment or dismissal show significantly better emotional regulation, impulse control, and frustration tolerance by middle childhood. The tantrum is not the enemy. The tantrum is the training ground. Your job is not to stop the tantrums. Your job is to be the safe, regulated presence your child's developing brain comes back to every time. Do that consistently enough through the exhaustion, through the public meltdowns, through the 5:47 p.m. shoe incidents, and you are giving your child something that will serve them for the rest of their life. The capacity to feel something enormous and survive it. Toddler tantrums are not a parenting failure. They are a developmental certainty, built into the biology of a brain that feels everything and can regulate almost nothing yet. What you do in those moments matters more than you know. Not because you have to get it perfect. The research is very clear that you won't, and that's okay. But because your calm, consistent presence is the exact experience your child's brain needs to build the circuits it's missing. You are not just surviving the tantrum years. You are building the emotional architecture your child will live inside for the rest of their life. If this video helped you see your toddler differently today, subscribe to Raised by Science. We publish new videos every week translating child brain science into tools real parents can actually use. And share this with a parent who needs to hear it, because every parent in the middle of a meltdown deserves to know this is not about the shoes. See you in the next one.